Salute, Uncle Sonny.
Salute, my brother.
How you doing?
I'm good. How's things for you?
Can't complain.
Yeah. Been some good weather.
Listen, I don't want to. They're gonna be here with us for a little while. I mean, I don't want to distract you.
I can't help but look at him.
Really?
Yeah, I'm serious.
What are they?
He's got a knife. He's choking the other guy. It looks like he's got a
doing
piano wire around his throat.
Jiu-jitsu.
He's got a piano wire around his throat over there.
That's what's called a rear naked choke.
I love it. I love it. Teddy looks nervous.
He does?
He's afraid.
Well, I'll take him home with me.
Yeah, I think you need to protect him.
Right.
He deserves a little protection. I can just hear him talking right now. Are you guys not going to do anything about this?
He'll be all right.
He'll be all right, you think? God bless. We're going to do the show with the doll over there. All right, we got Brian Davis, 9558. John Gotti is obviously the most famous gangster from this era. But what's fantasizing from us mob geeks? I love this. What's fascinating for us mob geeks is the Luchese secret campaign against Gotti, and his inner circle. Please give us a little story of the plots to take out, obviously, Gotti Sr. and Jr. and their allies. Just give us a little taste is what he's asking for. Can you give us a little taste of that? So I love you, mob geeks. It's a great question.
So here, the secret campaign that came out.
Was there a secret campaign?
Yeah, there was. There's no way to give you a little taste. That's a long story. Yeah, there was a lot of things that were done towards Gotti Sr. that were meant for him, that eventually were meant for Junior. There were guys taken out around John Gotti Sr. A little taste. There's a whole...
Yeah, that's a couple of stories there.
Yeah, no, a lot of guys got whacked around him, and he was due to be whacked, and a lot of events took place, but I can't answer that in just one question.
All right. This one says, Frank, I first heard of your shtick when you were on the sit-down. I feel true and honest, and I can see you are true and honest, Frank. There's no question about that. And I can see you were you were no one to be messed with. I am from New York. I did high-rise concrete and he mentions the company's name. Bro, tell some jokes. Lighten up. Make it fun. No disrespect whatsoever. Baba. He's calling you Baba. We appreciate that question.
I was never on this sit down.
He did some work, obviously, and he wants you to tell some jokes. Lighten up. Make it fun. No disrespect whatsoever, Baba. But here's what he's saying. He's talking about the sit down and why you are serious. And I know for you, this is some serious talks that we do here in the studio. And I guess explain why it's serious for you.
Okay, he claims he heard me on the sit down. I was never on another show. The only show that I was on was Vlad TV.
Right.
And then
here.
My own podcast here.
Right.
So I don't know where else he said he's seen me. I haven't made an appearance anywhere else. I appreciate you saying I'm true and honest, because I pride myself on that. Also, someone to be messed with. I don't take from anybody, so I appreciate that as well. High-rise concrete's a very tough job. So I know the guy, my hat's off to you, because you got to be a tough guy.
That's a real job.
You're the one not to be messed with, or you're the tough guy, because if you're doing high-rise concrete for Dick Underhill, that's a serious thing. Some jokes, yeah. This is all new to me, and we'll lighten it up, and we'll have some fun going forward.
I think we have a little bit of fun here and there. I don't think we're that serious. You are, because this is serious for you. This was your business. This is your life, and it should be. It's some serious stuff. Our YouTube C4S. I have watched 3 episodes on your channel. I have no idea who the co-host is.
Yeah, let me read it.
Go ahead.
I have watched 3 episodes on your channel. I have no idea who the co-host you have is. I have no idea his name. Maybe Sonny. His name is Sonny.
Yeah.
uncle maybe in the mob. Aside from that, I don't know anything about the guy. Why don't you give him a quick cliff note?
Again, I moved from Brooklyn, New York in 1990. I came here to Arizona. As you know, my uncle was in the mob. He was getting arrested and indicted and going to jail, and he had said to me, maybe it's best you get out of here. I didn't do a lot of work. You know, I did some weird stuff for my uncle, went down, picked up some stuff here and there for him, but I was not in the life. In Arizona, Frank and I met here, and we became great friends in the automotive industry. And I was a finance director at the time, hired Frank as one of my finance guys. We had some great stories about the car business. If you guys ever want to hear stories about the car business, Frank and I can tell you some stuff that we did. We worked together, like I said, I don't know, 12, 13 hours a day, 6 days a week. We worked hard, but we also had a lot of fun together. And the car business, was very good to both of us for a while.
I would say that before anything, you're a friend. Before co-host, before anything, you're one of my best friends. You know, and consider you family. Yeah, as far as being in the business, and we had a lot of laughs. We had a lot of good times in the car business. A lot of laughs, a lot of jokes, and a lot of things that happened. So we'll get into all that stuff later on. But
when you were, doing your last bit, you called me a lot. We had some great phone conversations. I mean, we remained friends when you were there, and I actually came to visit you. I was amazed because Frank tells me, he says, hey, your CPAC machine. I'm going to tell that story real quick. Frank has a CPAC machine, obviously. We all need one of those lately. And anyway, I'm going to visit him here in Arizona in state jail and federal jail, I should say. He tells me to bring the CPAC. I'm like, how am I going to get this thing in there? So I go in, I check in. I don't bring the CPAC machine in with me. I pretty much leave it in the car because I'm thinking. So I tell one of the guards there, and she's like, you can't bring that damn thing in here. What's wrong with you? So, and then the next guard comes out and says, hey, Sonny, come here. And she whispers in my ear, go get the CPAC machine. And I'm sitting there going, I'm in shock. They're going to let me bring this thing in. The girls were kind of hanging around me and having some fun. We were joking around. They said at that time I looked like Iron Man. They were joking around. I had a goatee, and we had some fun with that. And went in and was able to give Frank that. I gave it to the guard, and they gave it to him. But can you tell me how that occurred, how I was able to bring that CPAC machine in? Because I was thinking they're going to lock me up, and I'm going to be with you in the cell. So,
well, there's being in prison before, I know the paperwork you need to do and the steps you need to take, because having sleep apnea is a serious thing.
It is.
So I filed the right paperwork and went to the right steps right away. Yeah. And it worked.
Uh-huh. First reaction was like they looked at me and go, you're nuts. You're not bringing that thing in here.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, why don't you read this one? This is for you.
From Ben Woods, 3797. Hey, Frank, Uncle Sonny and the whole team. I love you back and forth. You have great chemistry. If I can make a suggestion, I think a lot of us would like to know how you got hooked up with Gaspipe. Who was there when you get straightened out? Maybe what you thought of Al Diaco and the whack jersey order. All the respect from the UK.
Wow, UK.
A lot of questions, UK.
Yeah, he's got a fistful there.
Appreciate the compliment. You like the back and forth chemistry.
That's because we're close friends. That's how that works.
I got hooked up with Gaspipe back in the mid-'80s in Brooklyn. Who was there when I got straightened out? That's we're going to have a whole episode on that in my induction ceremony.
That'll be good.
What I think of Al Diaco, I knew Al Diaco all my life. He was from the same neighborhood. I grew up with, his son grew up around us, his youngest son. So I know Al's whole family all my life. And the whack order from Jersey, I never agreed with that. I think it was a stupid thing.
Why did that come about? I mean, what induced that?
Well, you hear different versions of what induced it, what brought it on. But at the end of the day, I never would agree with whacking your whole Jersey crew out. It's insane. Never agreed with it. Wasn't a part of it. But my opinion, it was a stupid thing.
Okay. Can you elaborate why you thought it was stupid?
That's a whole nother.
It's a whole nother.
I got a Jersey episode coming up.
Okay.
To what led up to it, what I know led up to it, who was involved that led up to it, and then who was part of the plot and what steps were taken and the whole thing from the beginning to the end. So it's going to be a good
It'll be
episode.
a great
probably,
show. Yeah.
Probably more than one show.
Yeah.
But we're going to cover that.
Okay. Okay, this is from Chris Ventura at 1881. Great podcast so far. Can't wait to see who will be a guest to chime in. We'd love to have guests, and we've talked about
Phyllis,
this.
and I do have a lot of guests that I want to invite on the show and a lot of shows that I want to go on. The biggest problem is that I'm on federal supervised release. I got exactly another 16 months left. And until then, I can't be around any convicted felons, anybody who is, they say you can't affiliate with any felons. And most of the guests all have a felony conviction. So I did request a few people already. And the parole department, they staffed it. Means they had a meeting, and they shut it down. So I can't even travel. So I can't leave the state of Arizona. And I can't be around any felons. And so
it hinders on how many guests and who guests we have.
there'll be a lot of, I'm planning a lot of guests on the show, and I'm planning to go on a lot of shows. Just got to wait.
Can we mention names, or is it best we leave it alone at this point? Probably not.
Yeah, leave it
mention
alone.
it. Yeah, let's leave it alone. Okay, this is from Rob J, 2027. Cool little stories on Gaspipe and the Orena fraction. I definitely want to hear more about Buddy Longo.
Buddy Longo.
Yeah, Longo. And Vic and Gas. Took control of the family, who was Ducks. He's got a lot of questions here.
Okay, so let's take one step. Cool little stories on Gaspipe and the Orena faction. The Orena faction was Vic Orena. That was the other faction that was warring with the Persico side. So what he meant by cool stories with the Orena faction is when I was on the floor in 7 Northwood, Wild Bill. Wild Bill was part of the Orena faction. I got more stories with the Orena guys in prison. Buddy Longo, it's going to be a whole nother episode, if not more episodes. I know exactly, I know what led up to that, the real reason, and, who did it and how it was done. Who was Dux's Choice's predecessor? That's going to be in the episode.
Yep.
Tommy Riccardi was a made guy with us who did go on to cooperate, Jersey guy. And he did do a documentary years ago. And, yeah, it's true. He thought, and everybody in the Luchese family, most everybody thought Buddy was going to be the next boss.
That's an episode or two, probably, for that one.
Probably more than that, yeah. John Wick dot D's Nuts,
yeah.
DZNUTTZ. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
What podcast is this called? Where can I watch the full whole thing? Okay, so let me explain this. The podcast is the Frank Gioia Jr. podcast, right? But also, it's called the What's What podcast. But officially, the Frank Gioia Jr., the Made Man podcast. You can watch the full thing. People are getting confused. We release full episodes. Now, the episodes are broken up into pieces, and then eventually the full episode gets released. So people think it's a repeat. It's not a repeat. What it is it's not broken up, so you can watch it uninterrupted. So there's a part 1, a part 2, a part 3, there's parts. Then the full episode gets released. It's not a repeat. It's the luxury of not, people complain. They say, well, I don't want to watch it in parts. I want to watch the full episode. Some people say, I don't want to watch the full episode. I just want to watch 10 minutes at a time. We're trying to accommodate everyone.
Yeah.
But some people are getting confused and they're saying, well, it's a repeat. It's not a repeat. It's a full episode. So, for example, we post on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And they usually break them up into either 10 to 15-minute episodes. And on Sunday is a full episode. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you're going to get parts of an episode. Sunday's going to be a full episode every Sunday. Now, we just started doing Sunday full episodes, so we're behind. So people might look and say, oh, well, I've seen this before. Yes, you've seen it before in parts because people have requested parts. But now people requested full episodes. We're just trying to accommodate everyone.
So Monday,
Wednesday, Friday. Sunday is full episodes. Now, every day there'll be shorts. Every day there's about 3 shorts that get released. They get released every day. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
So that may be part of what people are saying, oh, I saw that already. You might have seen it in the short or the small before the full episode.
No, what they're saying is that they're not commenting on the shorts. What we're hearing, the feedback that we're getting is that, oh, I've seen this before. Well, yeah, you might have seen a Monday clip, a Wednesday clip, or a Friday clip. Now you're seeing the full episode. Well, the reason for that is so you could watch Monday, Wednesday, Friday all together in one shot.
Uninterrupted.
Right. That's what a full episode's for, right? But I think what we're going to start doing is we're going to start leaving out stuff. Let's say, for example, a full episode, let's say, is an hour, all right? 45 minutes to an hour. What we're thinking is we're kicking the idea around, just do 10-minute clips, 10, 10, 10, and then there's another 15 to 30 minutes left to watch on the full episode. So we're thinking that would accommodate both crowds, the people who want to see the little clips and then the people who want to see the full episode. So that is an incentive for you to watch the clips, and that is an incentive for you to watch the full episode, because there's going to be about 15 to 30 minutes left of the episode that nobody's seen.
You get the full story.
Right. So we're just we're just evolving, constantly trying to,
improve.
Yeah.
Constantly improving. So this is Jay Williams, 9334. Frank, did you see Casso's 60 Minutes interview?
Okay, so yes, I've seen Casso's 60-minute interview multiple times. I'd be lying if I told you no. How close was that to the Casso, the one I knew? He was off. He was off on that interview. You could see he was going off the deep end. Most of it was the guy I knew, but then there was times where he just wasn't the guy I knew. He just, you could see he was having.
You think he was having some mental issues?
Absolutely. Absolutely having some mental issues. And, rightfully so. They just gave the guy 550 years, 7 life sentences, and I think that'd make anybody crack up, so.
100% make you crack up. Oh.
Anonymous WF3WQ. How big was your crew at its peak? My personal crew or the Luchese family?
I'd answer both.
I would say Luchese family, when I was around, when I heard we had about as low as 80, as high as 120 made guys. But we had a lot of associates too. So I would go with 100 made guys. My personal crew, I probably had about, the exact how many I had, 10, 12 guys that I had.
Give us a couple names of those guys, and can you?
You'd
rather.
We'll cover it in a different episode.
Okay. So stay tuned is what that means. All right. Then we got Johnny J 890. Did you know about Finnegan, who was with Buddy?
Yes. I heard of Finnegan. I know what happened to Finnegan. We'll go over that when we do the Buddy Longo episode.
That'll all tie in together.
Yeah. Those are the Bronx guys. OBJ 2027. This is some great Luchese history. Keep it coming. What are your thoughts on Al Diaco? Like I said, Al Diaco, I knew him all my life, growing up in the neighborhood. His son, we went to the same school together, John. What I think of him, I think Al was a good guy. He was a hoodlum all his life. He was very family orientated, all about his family. I just think that when he became acting boss, he changed. And a lot of people say the same thing. So Al was known as a nice guy. Everybody loved Al. Al was known throughout the neighborhood. Everybody knew Al.
Family man. Everybody knew he was a good guy.
Family guy, all for his family. Street guy, always provided. Just another solid guy from the neighborhood. And everybody liked Al. And then I heard that when he became acting boss, a lot of people, the same people that knew him for so long, said that he wasn't the same guy. He changed. But, understandable, because he was under a lot of pressure from gas.
I would imagine that make anybody change, right?
Yeah.
You got to perform.
Yeah. Under a lot of pressure.
Yeah, I would think.
Do you think he was really going to get whacked in that hotel like he thought he was going to? I'm not sure about that, because I've been at the Kimberly multiple times. We used to take Georgie Neck there when he was on the lam. I don't know, because if you're gonna whack somebody in a hotel room, how are you gonna get the body out? I don't think we had a connection with the Kimberly where we had it locked down like that. Maybe they were just doing it as a scare tactic. I can tell you this much: the guys that were there were very capable of carrying it out, you know. But I think he was going to actually get killed. I don't know. I say no, because there was other ways they could have lured him in to kill him. I don't think they would have brought him to a public place in the Upper East Side of Manhattan and a hotel room to whack him there. They could have called him in anywhere else, you know. So I would go with more towards the north side. Jacob Linville, who's he talking about? Is ordering the food in the cell. I didn't hear a name. Was still gas carrying over from previous show. Yes, gas was on the cell phone ordering food with Billy Hongs, Peter Lugas, and the cops. Yeah,
you were talking about the lobster rolls, I think, at that time.
Yeah,
that he loved those. This is Big Q, 2696. Frank loving the podcast. Well, what separates Italians from the Bronx compared to all the boroughs? Isn't that interesting? I think he means the Bronx fashion. I think we talked a little bit about those guys up there, and they were less credible, is what we talked about in one of the stories.
No, he's saying what separates Italians from the Bronx. I don't think anything separates Italians from the Bronx. I think Italians from the Bronx are the same as Italians from anywhere. Brooklyn, Manhattan, Staten Island. I don't
There's
know
Italians
why.
in every borough.
Yeah, I don't know why Italians from the Bronx are different.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of Italians and good Italians from the Bronx.
A
lot of good neighborhoods up there.
Why? That's a good one. You want to handle that one?
The Truth 4267. Why is there a Chucky doll with a blinking sign about doing coke? Okay, I don't know why either. What I do know is that we have a lot of professional people in that work at the studio. I guess I walked in one day and I seen this blinking sign that says, "Don't do coke, do coke, don't do coke." I mean, I don't do coke. I never did do coke. I did it once. I told you the story.
Yes.
Well, I did it once, and I stood up till 7 a.m. staring at the ceiling. I said, I'll never do it again. But I think it's just a prop, you know. I got a Chucky doll. The doll's still behind me. I guess the Chucky doll, and now I got Ted following me around. So I mean, we have fun with it. So
yeah, these are props, guys. We're in a studio, and there's a lot more. We just kind of played with those.
Why don't you make the Truth 4267? What do you want to see? You know,
yeah, you want to see some props? Tell us.
Maybe we'll change the Chucky doll out for something else. Let us know.
Chucky doll. Well, we talked about him. We got SAS 1972-W2K. Why do you think Gaspipe was such a good guy? He was a piece of garbage and did whatever was best for him and him only. That's a question.
All right, let's not get this twisted. I'm not trying to portray Gaspipe as a good guy. He was good to me. He was a good gangster in the street. You're entitled to your opinion. He was a piece of garbage. A lot of people probably said worse things about him than that. I'm not sticking up for him or anything like that. When we're talking about the mob, we're talking about the life. There was very few guys that even compared to Gaspipe when it came to that. Now, does that make him a good guy? I never said that.
Mm-hmm.
Never say he was a good guy. All I said was he was very good to me. So
that's different.
Of course, he did what was good for himself. Everybody in that life, you know, most people, they did do what was good for themselves.
You almost have to.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's like, what do you...
How do you say he's not?
It's a very treacherous life, and at the end of the day, you could say that about... You could pretty much say that about a lot of gangsters, that they were a piece of garbage, they just did what was good for themselves, they were no good. You could say that about a lot of guys, you know? But all I ever said was Gas was good to me. And you know something, too? How is it any different than any corporate America, any organization, legitimate?
Mm-hmm. Which you did both.
Supposed to be legitimate, right? How is that any different about a guy who, corporate America or a job or something like that, where you don't get whacked, okay? That they're doing whatever they can to survive for themselves and doing everything they can for themselves, and don't care who they mess up along the way. It's no different. The only difference is with the mob, you could get killed. Okay, with legitimate side, what happens? You get fired, right? But it's no different.
And we've experienced both sides of that. You have. You've worked in the corporations, and there's no different. There's people in big corporations that will, say something against you in order to get advanced or do something.
Let me tell you something. Doing business with the Toby Keith thing and the bars and everything, the way a lot of those companies, those REITs, the way they run their companies, just no different than the mob. Yeah. I would joke about it. I really joke about it. Like the only difference is, they got a pen instead of a gun, But the way they did everything and how just as treacherous,
It's still survival, whether it be the corporate world or the mob world,
Yeah.
This is from MC Cloven. Am I reading that
McCloven,
right?
6500.
6500. Keep it coming. Any Frank Smith stories?
Yeah, I got a lot of Frank Smith stories, but we'll save that because that's a touchy subject. Because of my son, I was engaged to be married to Frank Smith's sister, who was my son's mother. Okay. So we'll have to talk about that in the future.
Okay.
Mike Sullyvahn. Sullyvahn 7143. Can you be more specific about how Sal Avellino didn't do his time in prison well? What happened with him exactly? Well, the reason why I say that is because everybody was always comparing Anthony Boat and Sal Avellino. Why? Because they were both captains. They were both on the administration and a panel. Okay, so always everybody compared the two. And if you looked at the both of them, the way they did their time was night and day. Okay, the way Boat did his time was like a real gangster, represented it as you should. He was a jailer. Right? Sal Avellino, you could see, he looked like a fish out of water. He looked like some white collar guy coming from a legitimate company. All of a sudden, just goes in and does a bid. He just didn't fit.
Why do you think that is, personality-wise?
Personality, and two, Sal Avellino really earned his money legitimately through the carting industry, garbage companies, and he was a legitimate businessman who happened to be a made guy in the mob. Boat was a made guy who was a street guy all his life. Two different personalities, two different. So that's why I looked at Avellino like not on the same level as Boat. But did Avellino do his time? Yeah, he did his time. The way he did his time, he didn't do his time like Boat did. That's for sure.
In what respect when you say that? Like just handled it differently? And
Boat's a gangster. Did his time like a gangster. Avellino, he didn't do his time like a gangster, but he did his time.
See what else we got coming. Provo's 7777. The five family aren't killing anyone anymore. Doubt if they're even dishing out beatings. The average age of the wise guy today is what? 75?
I don't know if that's true. Five families aren't killing anyone anymore. Obviously, they're not, because everybody would have heard about it. So I think murder took a holiday, so I agree with him there. Average age of a wise guy is 75. I disagree. I would think a low-key, business-minded guy is what you would want in the big seat. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Also, could you elaborate further on how Sal Avellino was an embarrassment? Was he on the prick in jail? What the hell was that? No, he wasn't on the prick, meaning, I don't know if they meant by taking drugs. No, Sal was, you know what Sal used to do? Does this sound like a guy that was taking drugs? He would eat his cereal with a fork. He would put the cereal in the bowl, fill it up with milk, whatever, milk they had in the mess hall.
Right.
They eat it with a fork because he was worried about his cholesterol.
So he's not really taking the milk at that point.
He's not taking most of the milk. Whatever milk sucked up in the cereal,
right,
he'd have that. No, he wasn't.
Yeah, that's interesting that he would ask that question.
Well, here's the thing. That's one of the things that he did. Mm-hmm. Well, you're looking at him going, you have like Boat. Okay, let's talk about eating cereal. You have Boat eating cereal like everybody else. We're sitting there, we fill it up with milk, we eat cereal. We don't care about, cholesterol or anything. And here's Avellino. eating it with a fork and being careful about,
his cholesterol count.
it was things like that you looked and saying, a little embarrassing when you got somebody, doing things like that. But there's a lot of other things that he did that we noticed.
Yeah.
Like, what is this guy doing?
Well, these characters all had different quirks, obviously. I mean, they're in a line of work that, you almost have to be a little quirky, I would think.
It was more than quirky, like you said. It was, I don't know. You don't expect that from
a gangster, a mobster.
Right.
Yeah. Excuse the terminology, but
you expect that. I mean, let me ask you this: you see the two of them together. They were both on the administration. They both were, high up there. You see one guy eating cereal like everybody else, doesn't care, and the other guy eating cereal with a fork. What's your impression?
Something wrong with the guy with the fork.
What's wrong with him?
He's strange.
Strange. But now they tell you they were both captains. They were both equally in power. How you look at them now?
I look at them the same for respect, but at the same time, in a close relationship while you're in prison, you're guessing with this guy.
So now the same guy, you're on the yard. You got Boat smoking a cigar, hanging out, right? And then you got him, Sal Avellino, making believe he's hitting golf balls. Now what do you think?
He's still strange.
Right, but is there any way to be acting?
Probably not in front of everybody,
There's a lot of things like that I'll get into that I remember.
Yeah.
Things that he did, the way he did his time, that made me look at him differently and say, what?
A little less respectful, I guess is the word you're looking at him as.
What are you out in the yard with 1,000 other inmates, all different nationalities, right? And you're making believe you're hitting a golf ball. I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Like another nationality or a gang could say, well, you know what? We could shake this guy down. Thinks he's on a golf course. You're on the yard.
Makes himself look easy or vulnerable or who knows why.
You're not on an
effing,
effing golf course. You're on a yard with other prisoners and stuff. You see what I'm saying? Or you look at Boat, he's smoking a cigar, he's hanging out, he's chopping it up, he's walking the track, he's doing
shit.
Yeah, he fits in, So.
Hey guys, once again, thank you for the questions. As you can see, Frank is very true and honest in answering your questions, and this does help us a lot. We appreciate that. More than anything, we love what's taking place here. We're not your normal, hate to use the terminology, mob genre channel. We're going to do things a little differently. We're going to focus on a few different things, and moving forward, I think you guys will really, really enjoy what we're doing. Tell your friends about it. Subscribe. We love what's going on with the channel. It's growing very nicely, better than we expected. So tell your friends that this is very different, and we're going to be true and honest right to the very end. So join us as much as you can, and we love you for it. On that note, see you when I see you.
Sounds good.
In the game, Uno. Shout out to my Usos, killing bills like Uma. Balls travel from Pluto. Big truck, soprano, gabagool and